यावान अर्थ उदपाने
यावन
यावन्
उदपाने
सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके
सर्वदा संप्लुतोदके
तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु
तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु
ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः.
ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः.
Any volunteers who can read the translation?
Yeah, Haribol, I can read.
Please.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Do I continue reading purport?
Yes, you can read the purport, then we'll discuss.
Purport. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedic culture are meant to encourage gradual development of self realization. And the purpose of self realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Lord Krishna, the primary cause of everything. So, self realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with Him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7 as follows.
I can read this. Aho bata swapa Aho bata swapachito gariyan yajivagre vartate nam tubhyam te pastapaste juhushashnurarya brahmanuchurnam grananti ete. Do you want to continue with the translation?
Yeah, sure. O my Lord, a person who's chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Kandila, dog eater, Chandala, dog eater, is situated on the highest platform of self realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times after taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals, nor is it possible to study all of the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purposes of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age.
नहीं 30 रुपए उनसे ऑन रहना ठीक है
अच्छा 30 रुपए उनसे लेने हैं
Uh,
Somebody is unmuted. Can everybody
I think
mute
you
if they...
can mute. Yeah,
मैं कहने वाली थी उधर बन रही है
I think you
ये
can
ले,
mute
30 रुपए तूने उसको
everyone.
देना है
Okay.
हाँ ये 200 रुपए वापस कर रहे हैं
One
You,
मैंने अपने दिए 100 रुपए तुझे ज्यादा होते तो तेरे से ले लेती
दादी
मैंने मंदिर लेके जाना है मैं तो कल लाई तेरे 2 और
uh, okay, I'll continue. In this age, the best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord. as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakashananda Saraswati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool and thus asked him to chant the holy name of the Lord, Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who take pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism.
Okay, thank you so much for
Hari
taking
Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so coming to the translation, all purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So previously, in the previous shloka, if you all remember, Krishna was telling Arjun how to rise above the three modes of material nature which are mentioned in the Vedas. So Vedas, they are dealing with the three modes. We had discussed the three modes last time: Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, and how these modes or forces are making us act in a certain manner. And whichever way we behave, expose, whatever choices we make in our life determines whether Satogun will act on us stronger than Rajogun, or Rajogun will act stronger than Satogun and Tamogun, or Tamogun will act stronger than Rajogun and Satogun. So depending upon our choices, we will actually have one of these forces overpower the others, and under their influence, the combination of the three, we act, we conduct ourselves. So there's description in the scriptures about all of this, and Krishna is saying that all the knowledge in the Vedas, one has to know the purpose. If one knows the purpose, then one is able to actually act. So example is given that a big reservoir of water, like for example a river may have huge quantity of water. So a river will actually be able to fulfill purpose of all the different kind of activities which we need water for, while on the other hand, if it's a small reservoir, a small well or something, it may have limited amount of water. So sometimes it may be used only for a certain purpose. So like that, Krishna is giving a very practical example for Arjun to understand, and for us to understand. Even a layman, an ordinary person, can understand that yes, this is very logical. Another way of looking at it is, sometimes it is said that if you have $100,000, then all your problem for which $1, $2, $3 are used, they will automatically be solved, right? Or if you need few cents to solve a problem, you don't have to worry about it. So you have to see the huge reservoir of water or huge reservoir of resource that can take care of small. So Vedas are the huge reservoir, and within the Vedas, if one understand the purpose why it is actually said what is said in the scriptures, then that person can utilize the Vedic knowledge, and for that purpose the whole resource will be of value. If one doesn't understand the purpose, then it is like having those $100,000, but it is locked in a room or in a cabinet whose keys you don't have, and you can't break it, you can't open it. So then it is zero for you, it is of no value for you. But once you understand the purpose, then it actually can be valuable. So Prabhupada is explaining this in the purport. So Prabhupada is mentioning that in the Vedas, like we had discussed previously, there are different divisions. Some instructions are coming in the category of Karma Kanda division. Karma Kanda division is for those who want to do work for immediate gratification or benefit. Like I want to do some puja or ritual, and then I want these results, or I want to do some karma and then I want these results. So that is karma kanda. Now these results are generally for sense gratification, for enjoyment, for making us happy in the material realm only. So those initiatives or those sections are the karma kanda division. But Prabhupada is connecting this with the 15th chapter. 15th chapter, 15th shlok, Krishna actually says that how we can open this, how Krishna is actually the source. So I am seed. Krishna reveals in the 15th chapter, he reveals that how he is the source, and he's seated in everyone's heart. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So remembering something, forgetting something, having knowledge of something, or application of anything, all this is happening by Krishna. And what is the purpose of the Vedas? So Krishna said in the previous shloka which we were discussing that it can be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, purposes of Vedas can be served by one who knows the purpose behind it. So one must know what is the purpose behind it, and this is what is important. The purpose is to know the Lord. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. So this is the purpose. So Prabhupada is quoting this shloka. Then Prabhupada is also quoting 15.7 here. So if in the 15th chapter, Krishna again, revealing about himself. This is the Purushottam Yoga chapter, chapter number 15. And Krishna tells how all the living entities are his ansh, his part and parcels. Living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. So they are all Krishna's parts. We are non-different in quality. Just like a child or a family member, a father feels all the children are his own family. They are part of the family. Similarly, spiritual family, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Then Prabhupada is quoting from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. In this particular section, it is mentioned about the glories and the importance of one who is chanting the holy name. So Krishna's name is very, very powerful. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinnatva Nam Namino. What this means is that name of Krishna and presence of Krishna are non-different. That if we say Krishna, Krishna is personally present there. So if we were to ask people, how many of you want to see Krishna? Many people will raise hand. Yes, we want to see Krishna. But seeing is one of the senses for perceiving. But we can perceive Krishna, and Krishna allows himself to be perceived through the ears. And how? By the name Krishna. When we say Krishna, we can actually perceive Krishna through the ears. And to the extent one spiritually advances to that extent, one realizes this and start taking to the process of chanting and meditating on the words of the holy names of these mantras, holy names of Krishna in these mantras. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is one mantra which is recommended for Kali Yuga. Like this, there are so many different mantras. You may have heard Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, so many others. So all these names, Om Namo Narayanaya, so all these mantras have the names of the Lord. So here it is mentioned in this shloka that a person who is chanting the holy name of Krishna, even though he is from a lower family. So generally people know about Shudras as lower family, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But actually Chandala means even lower than Shudra. So Shudra may be still considered civilized, but Chandalas are those who may not be even civilized. So even those people who may be born in lower family, sometimes people say, oh, nichli jati. But nichli jati is by behavior and character. If that person is able to chant the holy name, that is actually very, very high level. It says, then it is situated on the highest platform of self realization. So if one is chanting, able to chant, getting the attraction for chanting, able to incorporate that, not just mechanically doing, but actually doing it with seriousness and sincerity, that person is able to get to the highest level. And what does that means? That means this person is able to come here because he has already done all what was needed to come here. Now, all what was needed to come here means what? It means there are so many different pious, religious, spiritual, and um, bhakti or yogic sacrifices or performances one may have to perform. Example, the examples are given here. Penances, so many austerities, tapasya, sacrifices, yagyas, many of these this person has done according to the Vedic rituals. He studied the Vedic literature. So many lifetimes one may be engaged in all these activities, and one may have taken bath in so many holy places, and because of all these activities one was able to come to the level where one is so elevated spiritually that one is able to chant the holy name. Such a person is called best of the Aryan. So Arya means one who knows Vedic knowledge, one who knows the goal of life. That person is called as Aryan. So we have like Arya Samaj. So Arya Samaj means one who knows what is the purpose of Vedas, that particular society where there is emphasis on learning the Vedas and advancing. So Krishna also addresses Arjuna, Aryan or Anaryan. Anaryan means one who doesn't know. Aryan means one who knows. So such a person is the best of the Aryans who is able to come to the level of chanting of the holy name. Why? Because this is the scriptures say that if one comes to this level, that means one has already done all the tapasya, all the sacrifice, all the rituals, all the what was needed previously to come to this level. And then Prabhupada gives an example from the recent history. Yeah, here is this. So Prabhupada says about Lord Chaitanya. So who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How many of you are hearing about Lord Chaitanya for the first time? Anybody here? How many of you know about Lord Chaitanya from before coming to ISKCON? Anybody?
I did.
Yeah, you did. You're from Bengal. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So few people did, but Lord Chaitanya is described in the Shastras as Channa avatar. Channa avatar means hidden avatar or hidden incarnation. So he is non-different than Krishna. So Krishna came 5,000 years ago to give the Bhagavad Gita, and few people, few saints, sages, and fortunate people were able to perfect their life by applying the Bhagavad Gita. But as Kalyug was deteriorating, people were going away from Bhagavad Gita and they were not able to understand and practice properly. So 500 years ago, same Krishna came, but this time he did not come as showing himself as God. When 5,000 years ago Krishna came, he showed clearly that he is God. He was able to show that how he can lift the Govardhan or he can kill the demons with his hand. Nobody was able to really challenge and do much in front of Krishna. Uh, he was able to dance with the gopis, and the gopis were not one, two, three, four. They were actually hundreds and thousands and millions. He was able to marry thousands and thousands of queens and able to keep them in each one of them in one palace, and he was able to fulfill all his duties and able to satisfy all of them. So that is, all these were wonderful, wonderful activities which only God can do, nobody else can do. But then when he came in Kalyuga as Lord Chaitanya, he did not come to prove him God. He actually came to show us how to apply the Bhagavad Gita, how to practice the Bhagavad Gita, how to learn the Bhagavad Gita. So he was coming as teacher of Bhagavad Gita. So he lived as a as a simple Brahman, and he practiced Bhagavad Gita in his life, and by his example he showed. And one of the emphasis which Lord Chaitanya gave was on chanting the holy name, Harinam Sankirtan. And he uh, pointed at this shloka from the scriptures, where it is mentioned that in this age of Kali, the only way to get the highest perfection is by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So one time when he was in Banaras or Varanasi, so at that time, Banaras and Varanasi, they have so many different Vedic schools there. You know, one of the Vedic school was from the Shankara Sampradaya, where they had Shankaracharya's, followers, and they had Prakashananda Saraswati. He was a great scholar. He was great sannyasi, and he had many sannyasis as his students or disciples. So a sannyasi is very advanced, and he is even teacher to sannyasis. So this means he is very advanced in learning the scriptures. So one time he was invited at a place for um, having his meals, and Lord Chaitanya was also invited there. Now Lord Chaitanya, he was meditating on the holy names and chanting the holy names, while Prakashananda Saraswati and his disciples, they were mainly focused on reading the Vedas. So then Lord Chaitanya, he sat outside, and he was at a place where he was assisting and serving everybody by washing their feet. Whoever was coming there, he was just there. And then this person, Prakashananda Saraswati and his whole group, they saw, "Arey, this is a sannyasi, but he's simply sitting here outside," and they invited him inside, that you are also a sannyasi. Lord Chaitanya was at that time famous with the name of Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So he said, you should come. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya said, no, no, you all are so advanced. I am not very advanced. So I am good here only. So very humble. So Prakashananda Saraswati understood that he is very humble. Otherwise, he is very advanced also. But then they started asking him question. He asked, why you are not coming and studying with us? Rather, you are chanting this holy name. And Lord Chaitanya at that time said, my guru, my teacher, he has told me that I am fool only, and for me best thing is to chant the holy name. So then they have discussion, and Prakashananda Saraswati and his whole group, they ask questions from Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya at that time, from the authority of the Vedas, he completely convinced them that how chanting of the holy name is the highest level of yajna or sacrifice. And all the purpose behind all the reading the Vedas and all of this is to come to the highest level of practicing Bhakti Yoga. And when he convinced all of them, they all took to this process also. And Prakashananda Saraswati became a student or a disciple of Lord Chaitanya. So, like this, we see when Lord comes himself, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, or Krishna came in so many different avatar or incarnation. He has certain purposes to fulfill. And in this form of Lord Chaitanya, he actually gave the highest principles of Krishna consciousness, or the highest principles of connecting with Krishna through love. So that is called as Premananda. Ananda in Prem with Krishna. So that is the highest level of practice of Bhakti Yoga. And by practicing that, these sannyasis who were in the level of just peace, harmony, and shanti came to the highest level of ecstatic bliss and ananda. So they were able to relish and enjoy the spiritual path. So this is the detail of this particular pastime. And he emphasized that in this day and age, people are not very intelligent to understand the Vedas. Vedas have so many different aspects of knowledge, and people, they cannot really dedicate, they don't have the time, they don't have the intelligence, they don't have as much long life. So people are not really inclined to understanding the whole Vedas, and they don't even have proper availability and training. So coming to the highest level, and the shortcut is by taking to this process of Bhakti Yoga. Because if we have to climb 25 stories through the stairs, or if we have an option of doing it through the elevator, then most people who have to go there fast to take care of the business immediately will use the elevator. They won't use the stairs. So this process which Lord Chaitanya gave us is more like an elevator to go to the highest level. Okay. Any questions, any points from this particular shloka here?
I have one question.
Yes, please.
I mean, I know you were mentioning about Krishna, name of Krishna in Kali Yuga, and I was wondering, what is the meaning of Krishna? I know it's a God's name, but what is its meaning? And
Yes.
another question I have is, you mentioned about in Krishna in in this in Veda or in Krishna's is something you mentioned about forgetfulness and remembrance, right?
Yeah.
So I was
Shloka, one
thinking
shloka is there.
shlokas. So I was thinking like, so what does forgetfulness is signifying here? I mean, if you are reading it, is it signifying negativity, or I mean, forgetfulness is connoted to with something not good. You don't want to forget things, right?
Yeah.
So why
Okay.
would Krishna will be confined into both remembrance and
Okay,
forgetfulness?
great. So let's take the first question first. So what does the word Krishna means? Can anybody share? What do you think?
All attractive.
Yeah, so Krishna means जो सबको आकर्षित करे. Krishna word means all attractive. Anything attractive in this world is coming from, he's the source of all attractiveness. So even if I'm seeing one thing which is attracting me or beautiful or nice, oh my God, so beautiful. That is just a very small fraction of the beauty of the Lord. If that small thing is attracting me, just imagine how much Krishna will attract me once I know Krishna and see Krishna face to face. So that is the meaning of word Krishna, one who attracts. There are many other meanings of the word Krishna, but this is the most important one because everybody is looking for seeing something beautiful or getting attracted towards something nice or loving someone who is attractive and beautiful. So that is actually our longing for connecting with Krishna. So that is the first question. Second question, why forgetfulness? Krishna says in this particular shloka, from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So everybody likes remembrance, good memory. I should be able to remember everything. Should have knowledge. Those things are. But why forgetfulness? Actually, forgetfulness is extremely important. Just imagine when we have a bad experience and it just spoils our mind and it stays spoiled for hours or days or even weeks or months. Just thinking about that particular aspect may just spoil our mood again. So, forgetfulness is very important. In fact, there are certain people who whose body have this mechanism where they remember everything practically, like most things. You tell them a date, okay, June 8th 2005, and they'll tell you, oh, June 8th 2005, yeah, in the morning it was little cloudy and I woke up at 8 a.m and then I went to the bathroom. And so they'll tell you exactly because they have forgot how to forget. Their body remembers. And do you know the life of those people? They are actually miserable because the negative experiences they are not able to get rid of them. And there are a few like this, and this actually shows that forgetfulness is a blessing actually. We don't want to forget every day everything, no, but certain things forgetfulness is very helpful for. So everything has a purpose, and if they're used appropriately for that purpose, that is the best thing. So remembrance, of course, that is very important and has a purpose, but forgetfulness also has its role to play. Does that make sense, Madhu?
Yes, it does. But in that sense, isn't it remembrance is also then bad because you don't want to keep remembering your bad experiences.
Yeah,
So
that's why
yeah,
both things are of
yeah,
use and
yeah,
they have their utility.
yes. Okay. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else would like to share any thoughts on this? Any comments, any points, reflections? Okay, so we'll go to the next shloka. Oh, sorry, not this one.
Another question, sorry, I'm
Yes,
engaging you.
yes, please.
लेकिन भूलना बहुत मुश्किल होता है कुछ चीजें नहीं.
Yes, that is
हाँ,
true. Certain
yeah.
things leave a very strong impression in our mind and in our consciousness. But how to develop this habit of remembering what is helpful and being able to let go, which is unhealthy, that kind of training we can get once we are serious in spiritual life. Spiritual life really helps us by developing a mechanism by which we can let go those things which are unhealthy or undesirable for us.
Mhm. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is one of the very famous shlokas. Many of you may even remember this, and it is very misunderstood shloka also. So we'll see if we can complete this today. That'll be good. Otherwise, remaining part we'll take next session. So let's get started. Please repeat after me. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते
मा फलेषु कदाचन
फलेषु कदाचन
मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्
I saw her.
मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्व अकर्मणि.
Mate
Okay, so let's read the translation. Any volunteers would like to read?
I can read it.
Please.
Translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Purport. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions without desire for results is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Mhm.
much. Okay. So a lot of things are here. So we'll go step by step. First thing is, in the translation, Krishna is saying you have the right to perform your prescribed duty, but not entitled to fruits of action. So this particular sentence can be confusing for people, because general idea, general concept, people think that okay, I do a particular activity to get the results, like I study to get good marks, I work hard in the job to get money. So what does this mean? Right to perform the prescribed duty but not entitled to the fruits of action. So can anybody share?
Based off of what I know, I can say that do
Please.
your karma and let the result be given to you by the Lord.
Okay. Anybody else?
So I think it says that you should perform your duty, but you shouldn't be doing the duty for the fruits.
For the fruits, okay. So you are you have the right to perform prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. So the other person will say, then what is the impetus for me to do the duty? If I'm not going to get the results, then why should I do the duty? Is that a valid question? What do you guys think?
Sure.
So what is the answer?
The answer is do your duty in the name of the Lord, in the name of the greater
No, but I'm going to
purpose.
work and I feel like, oh my God, I'm, have to work again today. And then, okay, I have to work because I have to pay my bills. I have to pay my mortgage. I have to pay my, utilities. So I have to work. So that's why I'm coming. But then they're saying, don't, I'm not entitled to the fruits. I'm not entitled to the money. Oh, what does it mean? Or if I have to study and get good, score in my exams, in my tests, and they're saying you're not entitled to the fruits. So then what is the impetus or incentive? Somebody is doing a business, they want returns.
So it says like leave it up to him, up to the God. Just do your karma and leave it to the God for the is feedback, the
But if
return.
I leave it up to the God, then I won't feel such a drive to work, right? I may feel like, okay, it's okay.
But
I'll
if you
do whatever I can and then I'll relax. If I pass the exam, if I fail the exam, it's okay. I'll take care next year.
but if you have trust, if you have faith, then you will receive the fruit. As long as you have done
So
it,
again, then I'm having this fruity mentality in conscious, right? Because if I don't get the results, then I'll be like, this philosophy is bogus. I'm not getting the results.
well, that's right. I mean, if you don't get the reward, then why are you?
Then why am I working, right?
It's a
What is
cyclic process. I mean, even if you think about rebirth, that is a cyclic process.
yeah,
So the karma in at a certain level is a cyclic process. So you do because you want to get, and then you don't. That doesn't mean you give up, but you have to continuously do it without the thought of what am I going to get. But
correct.
on the other hand, if you look at it from the other perspective, that is
Yeah.
perspective of the results, then you are never going to do anything if you feel like, oh, if you first start thinking about the result, oh, I'm sure the result is going to be negative, so why am I even
No,
going?
it doesn't matter negative or positive. I am going to be focused on the result and do things. That makes sense. But not entitled to the fruits of action. Why? Just like normally people, what do? They want to do their business and then they do it to get money, or they study in the exam to get good score, or they do a particular research project to get it published.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you think about the result, then you may not be even doing your duty, then you are going into inaction form, like you are not even doing anything. because you're always thinking about the result, and then you don't know, you although you know that, okay, I'm doing this because I'm going to get positive result, right? I'm going to win, that's why I'm doing it, right?
Okay.
But then if you start thinking about the result only, then it might be putting you into an in a space where you never take the initiative to even do it. That's my take. I don't know
Okay. Okay.
if
No,
I'm
that's
correct.
a good perspective. Let's see from others if anybody else would like to share some thoughts. How many of you understood the doubt which I presented? Anybody else understood other than those who've already spoken? Others didn't understand the question?
You're looking for specific feedback. So the
No,
thing
I'm not
is,
looking for feedback. I'm looking for knowing how did you all understand this particular line? Because people usually don't understand and they have this doubt of how to apply this. That you have the right to perform your duty but not entitled to the fruits of action. People get confused. So I'm trying to see how many of
Mhm.
you have understood and how many of you are in line with the doubt which I presented. Anybody else?
No, like you are looking for specific money in return of the some work or the praise, but thing is like if you choose to do something like as your work field, you should do it and do it right way, but not look for specific things like reward or money or anything. Just leave it, just do your best and leave it up to the God
Okay.
for the
Yes.
return.
Yes. That's very good. So this is how I would like to understand particular shloka. So when Krishna says you have the right to perform the prescribed duty, it means that we all have certain responsibilities and duties which we have to perform. And we must do them. With doing the duty also comes planning it nicely. So when you're doing a duty, you must have a goal in mind. You can't go to you're a soccer player or a cricket player, you can't go there thinking, oh, I'm not attached to results, so it doesn't matter whether I do the other person's goal or my own goal. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be focused on your goal. Your goal is there, or if you're a bowler in a cricket match, your goal is to hit the stumps. So that's what you have to focus. So you have to focus on the goal. When Krishna is telling this to Arjun, that doesn't mean that Arjun doesn't have to get his goal ready for winning the war. He has to plan how to win the war. His planning has to be there. When a student is studying, his goal must be clear, that I have to cover and study and understand these topics nicely so that I can secure the best results in my exams. So that is the goal. And one must focus on that. If one is a businessman, one gets his projects and everything taken care so that one is able to get the revenue of the company increased. Or if one is doing a research project, the idea is to do it very, very nicely, thoroughly, so that it can get published. So those are goals which one has to be keeping in mind. And with that in mind, one plan and takes care of the needful activities, do the activities, and once it's done and submitted, then it's up to the Lord. Like many of you said, do your best and leave the rest. Do your duties nicely. And now, like for example, a student studying very nicely has the goal that I have to secure the maximum number of marks, and then goes write the results, write the exams, and after the exams are over, his part is done. Now he has to be unattached to the result. So before the exam, be focused on the goal and accordingly prepare. But once done, then unattached to the results. Results are not for me. If they come, they will be used in a spiritual manner. If they don't come, then we will use the situation to advance spiritually. Why the Lord has put me in the situation, there must be a reason. And one who is spiritually advanced, explore, understand the reason, and accordingly utilize that situation to grow spiritually. So never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. So many times people get attached to the results thinking, Arey, I am the one who worked so hard. I had done so much. What is the use? The problem is you are not the only part of the equation. You think that you are the cause of the results. When good things come, you think, oh, I have done it. And when thing doesn't work, then you get depressed. Oh my God, I couldn't even do this much. So you are not the only part of the equation. Your desires and your actions matter, but there are so many other factors which play a role. And Krishna will explain this in the Bhagavad Gita in future, that how the living entity has some amount of free will based upon which the living entity acts, and then that results in other set of situation in which one again acts. So depending upon our actions, we get reaction, and we can how we respond to those reactions, we get another set of reactions, and so on. So this cycle of karma goes on. So Krishna is saying here, never consider yourself the cause of the results of activities. So here it means that you are part of the equation, but not you alone are not the one who can make, all the things happen. It's not just in your hands. And never be attached. So somebody will say, if I'm not going to be entitled for the fruits, then I must not work. So Krishna is saying, no, never be attached to not doing your duty. So you must do your duty. There is no escape from that. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions 3 words here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. These 3 words in Sanskrit will be coming in future, in the future shlokas. So that is karma, akarma, and karma, vikarma, and akarma. So prescribed duties are those which one has to do. Like prescribed duty for a father is to take care of the family. For the mother, it is to take care of the family. For the children, it is to respect and follow the parents and do what is needful for that. So like that, everybody has prescribed duties. Capricious work means the work which is not in accordance with the sanction of the authority. So capricious work means vikarma, which means those actions which will give you bad reactions. So like things which are recommended not to be done, like for example smoking or drinking, taking drugs. So these are the things which can be harmful and they are not recommended, but people still do it. So that things in this category will actually give bad reactions. So they are called as vikarma, and they are called here in English capricious work. And third is inaction. So one meaning of inaction means no activity. So if you do no activity, then you get no results and no action you performed. There is another meaning of akarma, which means spiritual activity. Spiritual activity means those activities which unite us, connect us with the Lord. And that will come in the future shlokas, where akarma is explained, that how akarma is actually we are doing activity, but we don't get any material results. We only get spiritual benefits out of it. So prescribed duties, capricious work, inaction, these are the 3 things described here. And it is mentioned that Krishna is telling Arjun this because Arjun was thinking, maybe I should be inactive, I should not do any fighting, nothing, none of that. But Krishna will explain this, that in that situation also, Arjun, you will be doing some or the other activity. You are Kshatriya. It is your nature to act in a Kshatriya manner. So you cannot refrain from that. In the next paragraph, Prabhupada is explaining about further about karma, prescribed duties. So there are three subdivisions: routine work, emergency work, desired activities. So routine work means what one has to perform on a daily basis: going to work, going to job, taking care of your uh, finances, paying the bills, feeding the family. These are routine work. Emergency work will be like, and in emergency we have to go and address somebody got sick, so taking them to the hospital, getting them better. So this is like more like an emergency work. And the desired activities are those which one likes to do. Like for example, you are having food every day, but then desired activities means you do once in a while, you want gulab jamun or others. So basically these are the different categories in which prescribed duties can be there. So desired activities means those which you like to do, but they don't give you, they are not vikarma, they are not bad activities. So like this, Prabhupada is describing that prescribed duties can have these subdivision. He's explaining then routine work performed as an obligation in terms of scriptural injunctions without desire for results. So when we are doing routine action, but when is this routine action is done in the mode of goodness, then it has positive outcome. And if we do it with the desire of results and we do it in a karmic manner, then it causes bondage. So bondage means karma bandhan, means we are bound in the cycle of birth and death. So that is not so recommendable. If we do this kind of work, maybe we'll get some piety, some pious karma, and then we can get some options to enjoy. But then we will actually have to suffer for the negative reactions. So this karma, positive, negative, goes on. But if one is doing nishkam karma, which means you're doing activities, you're not attached to the results, you're not focused on the results, then that will help one advance in the path of liberation. So therefore Krishna is explaining that for Arjun, it is recommended to fight as the matter of duty without attachment to results, and by not participating in the battle, he is actually showing his sign of attachment. It is a sign of his attachment, and that will not lead him to advance in spiritual life, and it will lead him into bondage. So that is not recommended. And inaction also, the way Arjuna was putting it, that is also going to give him sin. So fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path for Arjuna. So this is how Arjuna is being recommended by Krishna. This particular shloka is very deep and vast and can be understood in so many different situations. The applications are unlimited for this shloka, and we have to see how Arjuna was meant to apply it and how we have to apply it in our daily life. And this shloka should make us clear about the Nishkam Karma Yoga concept, that karma one has to do as prescribed duty, not entitled to fruits, never consider oneself to be the only doer, and should not be attached to not doing our duty. So we must do our duty but not be attached to the fruits. We should have the goals in mind. We understand that this is how we have to act, and when we have acted, it's on Krishna and on situation how the Prakriti and the Paramatma and the whole creation, what comes out of it as a result, we accept it. And then based upon that, we again continue to respond to it considering that ultimately we are part and parcel of God, part and parcel of Krishna, and we have to take shelter of the Lord. And if we do that, then it is very easy for us to come out of this cycle of karma bandhan. So I'll stop here. Any questions, comments, any points, any reflections from anybody?
I have one request. Could you please go over that bondage part one more time quickly, if you don't mind? And then I have another question
Yes.
and comment.
So, sure. So the point is that when one is acting in Nishkama Karma Yoga, one doesn't have the desires to enjoy the results of the actions. And that helps one to advance. And when one is coming to the level of Bhakti Yoga, where one is connected with the Supreme Lord, then one is not entangled with karma and the result of karma. Otherwise, what happens is we do a certain karma and we are doing it every minute. We are doing a karma, and then we get the results of the karma. When we get the results of the karma, we respond to it in a certain manner. Now, when we do it in spiritually advanced way, then we are not entangled, we are not bound by the karma. But if we are doing it in ordinary way, which we do, most of the population does it, they want something and they do activities for getting that, and they get that and they enjoy it. So this is typical way how we did a karma, we got the results, and we are facing the reactions, and then go on and go on. This is bondage. We are bound by the cycle of karma. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. My another question was that, like as Krishna says, you do your best. If you interpret this sloka, as you said, you do your best, and result is not in your hand. Maybe sometimes it can be out of your expectation or not the way you expected, and so on and so forth. But sometimes, if everything is God's creation, Krishna's creation, then they do have some mediating factors like intelligence. And sometimes it has, I mean, we do see that people have done their best, but then let's say someone was, somebody did, somebody went into higher education and so on and so forth, but then ultimately we have found that they're working in some, they're running a restaurant or something. So what I'm trying to say is, what efforts that they had put into the best practices of um, their skills, the return is not there. So oftentimes we interpret that as, okay, there may have been something called intelligence, low intelligence or high intelligence, but that is also God's creation. So how do we make sense of those things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So taking this particular example of somebody studied for, long time, got higher degrees, higher education, but instead of getting established in a very good, successful professional career, they had to land up doing a business or a restaurant management, something like that. So how to understand? Did God not give them enough intelligence, or what happened?
Right.
So different situations are actually happening because of very complicated karma and reactions of karma. That being said, if we are um, going through a particular journey, let's say higher education in this particular situation, it's not just the degree which matters. It matters what all experiences the person went through, and person had to face those experiences. And now similarly, a different set of experiences are awaiting for him or her, where may have to do a business which may have different set of experiences which the person has meant to face. Our intelligence evolves based upon the experiences, based upon the karmas. God gives us what we, just like when we go in the court judge, he doesn't have anything personal with the prisoner or the lawyer. He is seeing the facts. Based upon that, a genuine judge will give a verdict. Now, if the prisoner or the accused is not someone who has done the crime, and the judge sees that the lawyer is not able to prove the crime, the judge will say, okay, you can go. Or if your crime is proved, they'll say, okay, you're punished for 10 years or whatever the verdict is. Similarly, Paramatma is there in the heart, and Lord, this will come in the future sections also, that how for ordinary people or people in general, the Lord is simply witness. He's just like a judge seeing there, and he doesn't even himself gets involved. Just his energies are able to address this and take care of it, and the Lord is just neutral. But for those who are personally connected with the Lord, who actually take to this process of yoga, and especially the higher yoga processes from Nishkam Karma to Bhakti, highest level, that process, when one takes, then that person has separate set of laws which determine that person. Karma will still be there to the extent we are not completely pure. But when one is completely pure, for that person, or she deals with a totally different consciousness. They don't do work for fruitive results. So the set of rules which govern them is totally different. Sometimes great saints, like there was a great saint um, who, it's a long story, in Ramayana it comes, but there was a huge famine which was going on. And it was said that if a great saint comes and steps here, then this famine will go away. And then they arranged for a specific great saint to come, and as soon as that saint stepped on that particular land, immediately the rain started to come. So the point which I'm making is that there are it's a very complicated topic, and Krishna will tell this in the subsequent shlokas, that karma is very complicated. So if somebody went through a particular thing and changed it, it is happening because of the result of so many lifetimes. It is very difficult for us to pinpoint what exactly made it happen, but everything has a reason, everything has a cause for which it is happening, and it's a journey. So the experiences which the person is facing right now, or whatever situation they are in right now, if they utilize it positively or appropriately or effectively, then that will give them a better future, where they may have, either materially or spiritually better situation to face. Does it make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to share anything? Any questions, comments, or any thoughts on this particular question which Moshi Mataji's just asked?
Yeah, I feel like she's saying like people like have education in some other field and then they change things, and it happened with immigration. Like my husband and me, we have different degree, and now I'm staying home, being like stay at home mom for several years. My husband was engineer, but now he's have a store. But the thing is, karma means we should do best what we are doing right now. So
Yep.
I don't need to think about what can I do as a nurse when I'm not a nurse at this time. So I need to focus on the household and the other situation, kids right now. When he is at the store, he need to focus on the store. He don't need to worry about what's going in engineering field.
Correct.
So that's how karma depends. So if he is in that field, he cannot change at the point of the need. Like when need arrives, he need to, if he is business person, he need to stay there, and if he was in engineering field, he need to stay there. He cannot change at the last minute to get the benefit. But if he
Yeah.
have already moved on, like 4 part in the previous yuga, like that Arjun, if he was like already in the vanvas, he might not have to think about going back and fight for anybody. But if he is in the situation, then he need to work for that situation and do the right stuff. So I feel like
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was very nice.
yeah.
So yeah, different situations are different, and it is like, in sometimes the example is given for baseball, right? They keep throwing balls at you, but you take a hit only when you feel the right ball is there. Otherwise, in different situations, you may act differently. Similarly, in cricket, different bowlers, sometimes they'll do bouncer, sometimes they'll throw a yorker, and you see every situation and then address it. Similarly, in our life, the life will throw so many different situations on us, and that may be for some previous reasons, previous karma or whatever. But how we respond to those will actually determine what kind of a future destiny we are creating. So I think it was nice discussion. Thank you everybody for participating. If nobody has anything else to add, I think we'll end here.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna,
Grantha.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna
Yeah,
Mataji. Thank you for
yeah,
joining.
it was wonderful, Prabhu. I didn't knew, like, I don't know. Today was Ekadashi, and I wanted to listen something spiritual, and I just somehow clicked this. I went to Lansing one, and I saw your, and I'm so glad I did it. It was wonderful, session. And it just means I'm blessed to hear all those things. Nice questions. You gave such wonderful answers. And Bhagavad Gita, as we know, anytime you read, it just seems new and new and new and ever relishing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anything you would like to add?
No, no, Prabhuji.
Share?
Everything, yeah, I'm sure, Prabhuji.
I
It's
have, I
it was
have,
so Nectarian.
yeah, I was able to see some of your lectures. Thank you so much for sharing so beautifully
Oh,
your
I didn't know, Prabhu.
sessions.
You saw. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Prabhu. All learn from you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Nothing is mine and Gurudev's mercy. All Shiksha Guru like you have been instrumental in our journey. I was actually telling my little one that who he was asking, who is he? I said, he is our Shiksha Guru. So he was like, oh, really? I said, yeah. He is not false.
You are much more advanced than me, Mataji.
No, 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 Prabhu, please. I should not even hear you saying that. It's embarrassing. Thank you so much for
Very kind. Thank you.
Haribol, Prabhu.
All right, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Granth Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll end here.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Hare Krishna.